My life has taken a completely different turn in the last 6 months. I got married. I found out I was pregnant.
We're pregnant!
And my social commerce business hit $1 million in revenue. And this is after 3 of the hardest years of my life, going through a lawsuit and feeling like I was gonna lose everything I built in the last 10 years. I literally didn't know where I was gonna go from there. It's crazy how much your life can change in 6 months. When I found out I was pregnant 6 months ago, I literally had a complete mental breakdown. I was like, oh my God, we had been trying for 3 years and we just thought it wasn't gonna happen anymore. So when I found out it was gonna happen on God's time, it definitely shifted my perspective. I had been working though on my mindset for a long time. Since the lawsuit started to happen, I had to start working on my mindset because I was breaking down. They were trying to take everything from me using fear tactics, bullying me. So I had to strengthen my mindset 3 years or 4 years ago now when it first started. After the lawsuit, I was literally in a period of recovery. My mind completely transformed during the hardest times of my life, which now I see as a gift. And with all that has happened in the last 6 months, I decided to make some big choices this year. All while having some traditional parents telling me to slow down because I was doing too much. In Mexican tradition, you get pregnant and you chill the F out, okay? You sit at home and you eat and you just basically don't really do much. Mexican women in my family would get pregnant and their whole life would pause. But me, what have I been doing the last 6 months? Well, I have been in planting mode, right? I have been in spring, which is planting and preparing myself to harvest for the summer, which is when my baby will come. So I've hired new assistants. When my baby comes, I want to have all of my fruits harvesting. And guess what? None of this was luck, okay? This has been echándole muchas ganas, making some really uncomfortable choices and believing in myself. And yes, some strategy, which I did hire a business coach to help me with that, which I'll talk about later in this video. So if you're thinking, how the hell is this possible? I'm gonna break it down in this video on how I did it and how you can do it too. So step 1, I upgraded my mentality. Okay. After the lawsuit, I was straight up in survival mode. Okay. I was barely sleeping. I was hustling on autopilot, praying that the universe would cut me a break. But guess what? God will only give you what you can handle. And man, God thinks I can handle a lot because wow, has he given me a lot in just the last decade. But here's the thing. If you want a different life, you have to change the mindset that got you into that life. Okay. There's a certain mindset that gets us stuck, and that's the mindset you have to let go of in order to evolve and grow. And I think the biggest advice I can tell you is you become who you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding yourself with women that are like,
life is so hard. Let me just, cry about it and do nothing about it.
Guess what? That's how you're going to become. If you start to surround yourself with people that are wanting to grow, that are bettering themselves, that are doing something to develop themselves personally, then you become that. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but you become the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. So look around you, girl. You are who your friends are. So how did I do it? I basically started to double down hard. I went into therapy, which I've been in therapy off and on for the last 10 years. But I also hired a business coach, which was not cheap. I hired a money coach. I hired a life coach. I hired a spiritual coach, somebody that was doing hypnosis on me. I was serious about transforming my mindset. Just like in exercise, just like in body, if you don't put in the effort, if you don't get that fitness coach to make you better, to work harder, to help you with your discipline, you're not really gonna see crazy, huge, outstanding results. And here's the thing. I actually started watching Tony Robbins videos back in, 2012 when I was first starting my business on YouTube. And I used to watch him, and he was literally the person who really inspired me to start changing the people I hang out with, transforming my mindset. And I actually had the opportunity to meet him last year at a red carpet event. My friend Jackie literally threw me in front of him. Here's a picture of us right here. She threw me in front of him and was like, go talk to him. And I literally sat in front of him and I cried myself, basically. Was like, you changed my life 10 years ago and now I'm living my dream life thanks to you. And he was like, have you ever been to one of my events? And I told him like, no, which I kind of felt embarrassed. I was like, I've only done the ones online. He's like, come to one of my events, I'll invite you. I went, he invited me for free. These tickets are like $1,000. So when I did go, I ended up going back in, it was last year. We went to New York. My girl Jackie and I ended up going to New York because they gave us tickets. And I started talking to some of his coaches and I found out Tony Robbins, the most motivational speaker, okay, the most inspirational coach. I mean, he has coached people like Michael Jordan, Bill Clinton. I mean, people that are going through major breakdowns, major controversy, and he helps them transform and shift their perspective. This is the life coach. And he has 6 life coaches I found also in the conversation that I had with him. I was like, if Tony Robbins, a life coach, has 6 life coaches, I'm like, Gia, what are you waiting for? So I did invest in a life coach that has not been cheap, but has been so worth it. And what I can say about life coaches and business coaches is they just help you to get from point A to point B faster. It's not that I couldn't do it on my own. It's just what I did in 7 years, these coaches helped me do in 1 year. And the thing is also that our culture, our culture also has a thing about saying that locals are the only ones that do therapy. And I'll just say therapy has probably been, this is the first thing that I started with. So if you don't know where to start with, go to therapy, sis. We all can use some therapy. And if you have a family like me and say therapy son para locos and manifesting is solo la brujería, girl, you need to change that perspective because really that is not true. We all have some kind of trauma, especially me being a first-gen Mexican American. Girl, talk about some trauma. My parents coming here from Mexico, raising American daughters for the first time, they did the very best that they could. But honestly, you know, I had some traumas and I needed to let go of the not feeling like good enough, not being brown enough, not being American enough, always never made me feel good enough. So I had to overcome a lot of my stories in my mind. And this is where therapy helped, hypnosis therapy helped, life business coaches helped. I mean, it all made a huge difference. It was an investment though. But guess what? My return on investment, it was worth it. And the thing is that mindset work is more than just some positive affirmations, right? It's more than just saying, I am enough. You have to really, really go into the stories and shift that perspective for you to really, really believe that you are enough. If you don't change the stories you're telling yourself every day, you're going to keep living that reality every single day. And guess what? None of it also works. So even spending all the time in the mind gym doesn't work unless you also spend time in the physical gym. So yes, I also have been prioritizing my fitness, working out 5 days a week. You think I'd be able to handle a lawsuit, pregnancy, and $1 million business running on empty? No mames, that's not gonna happen. The reason I can do hard shit is because I built a body and mind strong enough to carry the weight of my dreams. If you take nothing else from this step, just remember that your mind is like a garden where everything will either grow or die. So start planting better seeds now. Now, step 2, how did my life change in the last 6 months? Well, I have officially become pre-approved to buy a house in Los Angeles. Yeah, $1 million at least, you guys. That is the cheapest thing you can pretty much find a good house in Los Angeles. Talk about adulting. And look, let me tell you, I didn't just magically wake up one day with good credit and a down payment. Okay, I had to hire a money coach, which helped me with my finances. It was literally like hiring a personal trainer, but for money. And all the coaches that I work with, I will leave their information down below. If you guys ever feel like, you know what, I want some guidance, I want to see who Gia worked with, girl, let me give you my referrals. My trainers, my coaches have been amazing. They have helped me get to exactly where I'm at. So again, before I got to hiring the money coach, I had to change the story in my freaking brain, which is,
it's hard to buy a house in Los Angeles. The interests are too high. It's not the right time.
I mean, there was so many stories in my head that was holding me back from buying a house, but I had been wanting to do this for a long time. When you study wealthy people, they all have properties. And these are good tax write-offs when you're making a lot of money. My money coach, Sylvia, basically started to help me plan out for the down payment. She helped me plan out for a money reserve, which you want to have a reserve when you buy a house. Don't just buy a house because if something breaks and you can't fix it, what good is that? She helped me just transform the way that I thought about money. Let me ask you something. I want to know in the comments, what is your relationship to money? If money was to walk into your room right now, how would you treat money? Me? I'll be like, money, oh my gosh, like I love you. Thank you for being so awesome. Thank you for being so supportive. Thank you for standing by me. Thank you for always coming back with more of your friends. How would you talk to money? Let me know in the comments, because that is where it starts. My money coach helped me change the relationship with money. She literally has me sit down once a week on a date. I go on a date with my money every single week. I'm like, where you at, girl? What you doing for me, girl? Yeah, every single week I pay attention to her. And if there's still feelings of shame and avoidance around money, well, how are you gonna call in more money if you can't even have a conversation and be there and present with your money? Think about that. I grew up with my mom telling me, Mija, marry a rich man and, make sure there's security there. And honestly, I am so happy to say that I am the rich man now. I don't need a rich man. And yes, my husband did used to make a lot of money playing basketball, but now he's retired, he coaches, and really he's helping me build my dreams now when I helped him build his dreams. So money doesn't have to be something that you need to have in order to be in a good relationship too. If you become the rich man, you no longer need to look for the rich man, and you get to choose somebody that you just want to be with. Like me, I just get to be with my husband because I love him, not because he has all this money. Period, girl. All right, and the third way that I have changed my life in these last 6 months, which is the one that makes me the most excited, I bought a freaking business, girl. So having a baby, buying a house, and buying a business. Literally just closed on this business this last week. I am so excited. I'm now moving into the space, redecorating it, giving it the Gia vibes. And this, just to give you guys a backstory, this is actually the muffler shop that my dad owned, that I basically grew up. My dad supported us through this business. I originally started my gym in his muffler shop. He was in the process of retiring. This was about 10 years ago. I don't know if you guys remember the videos that I had to take down because it was part of the lawsuit settlement. I can't show it because the logos are there, but anyways, you remember the videos in the muffler shop where there's like really hot cars in the back? Those are all my dad's cars. This is where I started my first dream of having a gym. My YouTube channel at the time was when I started to take off, but it was like all at the same time of having this vision for Body by Gia, having this vision to just be an entrepreneur. So when I left in 2015 to continue journeying around the world, because my YouTube channel started to take me to Australia and Bangkok and Mexico, so I decided to pursue YouTube. I let it go because at the time I really didn't have the money to invest in redecorating. There was also just kind of like a little bit of tension between my sisters and I of like, well, you're just gonna let Gia take over even though I was willing to pay for it. There was just beef. It just wasn't the right time. And I just let it go. I was like, you know what? If it's meant for me to have it, it's going to come back to me in the perfect way, in the perfect timing. So I left in 2015, and since then my dad had been renting it to other people. Eventually somebody, the last 8 years, started the business as an event planning business, and they kept the name of Hot Shop Mufflers, which is what it is now. He was doing productions there. He was doing all kinds of like events, birthday parties. So anyway, I bought the business from him. How did I do it though? Of course, I added my accountant, my attorney, my business coach in the conversations of negotiations. So that way I went in with a powerful stance. And I mean, I just negotiated like a boss. Now, if you think my dad is letting me have that building for free, you are wrong. My dad has always been very hard with me, and I love it now because he's never, ever, ever given me anything for free. He has made me work for everything that I have, you guys. When I started my YouTube channel, I was wanting him to invest so bad, and he just wanted me to get a real job real job. Because I didn't get a real job, he was like, I will never help you with that YouTube channel. Estás volando, estás soñando, te estás en las nubes. Come back down to earth. Am I happy that I went on my own path 10 years ago? Yes. And I feel like I have been a trailblazer of everything that I've done in my life. I graduated from college. First of all, I didn't go get married and have a baby right after. I decided to start my own business on YouTube. Did I get resistance from my entire family, tios and tias and cousins? Absolutely. And then I decided to have a baby at 40. You guys, I have literally, and not just having a baby at 40, but I'm having a nanny. I'm having all this support. Everything I've done, I've gotten resistance from my family because I am doing something for the first time that I've never seen my family do it. And girl, that is hard. And if you are one of those people that are doing the same thing, changing the dynamic, changing the cycles in your family, girl, I feel you. I know it's hard, but it is so possible. And you feel the calling. You have these seeds planted in you. You gotta water them, girl. You only live once. Now, this was not just a random purchase either, okay? I wanted to purchase a business that was complementary to my current business, which is of TikTok. And it was also nice that I bought a business that already has cash flow, okay? Not tons, but it has enough cash flow to feed the rent and feed the staff, the current staff that was there. Now, what I'm gonna do with it, I'm gonna scale that. I'm gonna be hosting TikTok lives there. I'm gonna be doing my TikToks, maybe even launch my brand there, which is nice because I have enough space to store all the merchandise. But right now, honestly, anything is possible. There is no limits, and the vision that I have is so limitless. I had to choose faith over fear for this decision too, you guys, because I'm having a baby. A lot of people would say it's crazy you're buying a business while you're having a baby, but honestly, choosing faith over fear just feels better in my body. When you think about how it feels when I choose faith over fear, fear is heavy, fear is contracting. When I'm choosing faith, I'm just opening myself up to the possibilities. And at first, my parents were like, are you sure you want to do this? You're also buying a house. Maybe you should slow down. I'm like, no, I want to do this. I know I can do this. I have the support. I have an assistant. I have an attorney. I have all the people that I need. My husband is also helping me with a lot. I was like, I know I can do it. And like my dad, which is funny because my dad at first is the one that told me, hey, Matthew, my current tenant needs to leave. He's thinking about selling the business. He's looking for a buyer. Literally, no hesitation. I was like, where do I sign? How can I buy this property? And my dad was like,
whoa, you're having a baby. Shouldn't you slow down?
And I was like, no. And the crazy thing is people always ask me like, aren't you afraid to fail? And here it is. Here's the truth, you guys. Yes, I'm a little bit afraid to fail. A little bit, like this much. But you know what I'm more afraid of? I'm more afraid of not trying and not knowing what could have happened. Yes, this could all blow up and all the money I invest in the rent and the decorations and buying the business could totally go to waste. And I could choose to water that soil. I can choose to water that garden. Or I can choose to water the soil and the garden of faith. What if it all works out, you guys? Have you ever asked yourself that when you're about to take a big leap? O sea, ¿qué tal si todo funciona mejor que pudiera haber imaginado? What if it all works out better than I could have imagined? And 30 years later, my daughter is now taking over that business. Like my dad, 30 years he spent as a muffler man in there with his heart. He built his American dreams with his hands and sweat. And 30 years later, I'm taking over the business now. Again, renting it from him because he is not giving it to me. And we never know what can happen. I'm more afraid not to try than to fail, period. So if you're sitting there with a big opportunity just waiting for the right time, girl, let me just tell you, there's never going to be a right time. All you have to do is say and decide this is the right time and just leap and the net will appear. As you know, I took a pause from YouTube, okay? It was because of the lawsuit. I just didn't know where the brand was going to go. They were trying to take my name. And so I took a pause, and also just for my mental health. I just like literally was so depressed. I needed to cocoon for that year that I took a break. But now I am back sharing my Mexican American story. And yes, I'm doing it in English. And I know a lot of you guys are okay with that. And a lot of you guys are like, ¿por qué ya paraste de hacer las clases de rutinas en español? And you guys have beef with it. But you know what? If I'm not being my most authentic self, which, sí, hablo Spanglish. Nací aquí en Estados Unidos, so hablo inglés y en español. And if you don't accept me the way that I am, girl, sending you love, but this is who I am now. And if there's one thing that I can tell you guys to take away from this video is if you have big dreams, go for it. Go for it. Don't let anyone tell you that you cannot dream as big as you want. And the dreams that you have now, I would go back and look at, are they big enough? Do they make me uncomfortable enough? And that's how you know you're headed down the right path. Because here's the truth. The reason why my life has changed dramatically in the last 6 months is because I have taken huge leaps. I have taken risks, calculated risks, but risks. And remember, like I always say, it's never too late to change. It's never too late. You could take risks at 50. Si tienes 50 años, puedes tomar riesgos. También a esa edad puedes reinventarte cuantas veces que quieras. You can literally reinvent yourself as many damn times as you want. Don't let anybody else tell you what to do, girl. And if you can't hire a coach yet, like I did, you guys, there is tons of free content on YouTube, on the internet, on TikTok that'll help you start to transform your mindset. You have to start, again, changing the relationship you have with money so you can start attracting more of it so that then you can invest in the business coach. And don't be afraid to invest in your mind, buying a course, setting yourself up with a business coach or a money coach. Girl, it is so worth it. You just have to get out of your mind. If you're thinking like, oh no, it's going to cost me this, what are you going to get in return? That's what you got to think about. And all of these changes for me, you guys, has been happening all while working out 5 days a week, growing an entire human in my body, and still making 3 TikTok shop videos per day on 2 accounts. Because I have one in English, GFA, y tengo una español, Gia Tienda. So anything is possible. You just have to find the right time management. I will say, if you got bad time management, you can't do a lot of stuff. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. I said I was going to work out 5 days a week pregnant. Guess what? It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I'm grumpy. It doesn't matter if I feel sick. Well, luckily I didn't have any morning sickness, but I do it because I say I'm going to do it. And it doesn't mean the days that I feel tired, I'm going to go in 100% at the gym. It just means that I show up. I promised myself when I found out I was pregnant that I was going to show up no matter what. And I have. And that built this trust inside of me that has helped me now take these leaps, trusting that I know what I'm doing because I'm doing what I say I'm going to do. You have to do what you say you're going to do. That is the difference between somebody successful and unsuccessful. These first 6 months of pregnancy, you guys, has been the best 6 months. I am literally using my fertile energy inside of me to birth this business, birth this healthy child, and birth the mother that I'm going to become. I hope this video inspired you. I hope that this video made you start looking at your life a little bit different. And it's not to make you guys feel bad if you're not dreaming bigger. It's to just tell you what is possible. And a lot more is possible than we think when we choose faith and we trust our higher power. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. Don't forget to subscribe to see my next video. And well, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.